Hello everyone, how are you doing? Karen here. Wow, what's right around the corner? It's Valentine's Day. And I know when Valentine's Day comes, you can go in the stores now, well, you probably go in the stores a month ago and find Valentine's things, but it's all you see is candy, sweets made with refined sugars, and you really want to watch out for that. So I'm going to make a recipe today that you can give to somebody and feel good about giving it to them. It has no refined sugars in it whatsoever. For my sugar, I'm going to be using maple syrup, and it's just got a lot of fun ingredients in it. And this is going to be a chocolate truffle. So I'm going to be making these into truffles, and then it's got my double boiler going here. And then you can coat them with different things, and I'll show you a couple different ways of coating them and a really cute way of presenting them. So let's get going. Okay, so we're going to have 1.5 cups of dark chocolate chips or chopped dark chocolate. So let's see what I got here. I kind of chopped up a little bit extra because I knew I was not going to have enough. So this is going to be just about right, I think. So I had a bar of unsweetened chocolate, so I'm mixing that with my dark chocolate chips. Now my dark chocolate chips have no sugar in them, so you really want to watch out for that. And you can buy unsweetened chocolate chips. That's what these were. I mean, these are no sugar added. They are sweetened with stevia, so I'm okay with that. So you want to watch out for the refined sugars, because refined sugars are going to cause inflammation in your body. And we really want to avoid that inflammation in our body, because if you don't, what happens is that inflammation can cause all sorts of things, from achy joints to sore muscles to disease. So you really want to be careful with that. Now you also want to be very careful. I always melt my chocolate over a double boiler, because if you would get water into this chocolate, it would seize up. It would get really hard, and you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. You'd have to throw it away. So you want to be careful when you're melting chocolate not to get any type of water into it, because it's not a good thing for your chocolate. So I'm going to turn this down lower, because I really got a lot of steam coming up here. Getting a mini facial while I'm melting my chocolate. So, so as soon as this gets melted, then we'll be adding our coconut cream. Now our coconut cream is different than coconut milk. Now coconut cream, when you open up your coconut milk, you're going to notice that there is a heavy layer of like solid coconut in your can, and then underneath that you're going to have the coconut milk, and that's totally fine. Doesn't mean your coconut milk has gone bad. A lot of people think that when they open it up for the first time. So that top part is the coconut cream. Now I wanted to have a half a cup, and I can never guarantee I'm going to get a half a cup of coconut cream out of a regular full-fat jar of or can of coconut milk. So I bought the coconut cream, a whole can of it. So that will come in handy. So I'll show you how this looks. I mean, just you can see how nice and thick that is. I mean, it's like butter. So we will add that in to our chocolate. Our chocolate is melted now. And so we are going to add that in. Now you might still find some coconut water at the bottom of your coconut cream if you buy it this way too. I don't like mixing it in because I think it thins out my coconut cream too much. So I just leave it there and I don't worry about it. So So yes, this is going to have a little bit of a coconut flavor. So if you're not a coconut fan, may not be the truffle for you. But I'm going to be adding another ingredient that's gonna really help too with that adding that coconut, getting that coconut flavor kind of so it's not as strong. And but with the chocolate and everything else that's going in here, you really don't, I don't notice the coconut that much. So all right, let's see, and our coconut oil, and how much of that do I need? My computer jumped on me. So I need a tablespoon of my coconut oil. Now I always buy the solid coconut oil. I don't buy the liquid coconut oil. I always buy the unrefined coconut oil. That also is going to taste like coconut. So mine may taste a lot like coconut. You can buy the refined coconut oil. This is just going to give it a nice shine. You can buy the refined coconut oil, and that won't have any coconut flavor to it whatsoever. So, you know, I guess it's your preference. You're going to get the coconut, a little bit of the coconut flavor from the coconut cream. So I figure a little bit from the coconut oil isn't going to really add in that much more. So, okay, let's get this all nice and mixed in here. I'm going to give that coconut cream a little bit of time to incorporate into the chocolate. And that'll melt down. Or not melt down, but the coconut oil will melt down. But that coconut cream will all get incorporated in here pretty easily. Okay, and then we are going to, this is going to be another ingredient that is going to help with maybe, I don't want to say masking that coconut flavor, but maybe that you won't notice it as much. And that's going to be 1/4 of a cup of peanut butter. Now you can use any nut butter that you like. I just happen to like peanut and chocolate together, so I'm going with the peanut butter. So you could use almond butter, you could use cashew butter, and I'm going to take this off of the heat and do this off the heat. So I'm going to move you guys over so that we can do that easily. Whoops. Really need to find a better tripod. Alright, so we're going to add this to our chocolate. So that's just our peanut butter. Now you want to get a good peanut butter. You don't want a peanut butter that has any type of oil in it already. Just because the nuts have a lot of oil in them. So you don't need to add, you don't need to have that extra oil in that. So, okay, so this is going to be really good. Okay, and then we are going to add a little bit of sweetener to this, so we are going to be adding 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. Now, maple syrup is a natural sweetener. It's got a lot of minerals in it. It's very healthy for you, so don't be afraid of using it. Making sure I have my 1/3 here. But you want to make sure you're getting 100% real maple syrup. You don't want the maple syrup that comes in the jar that looks like the little lady, because that's not real maple syrup. That's pancake syrup. Sugar water made with refined sugar. So you want to really stay away from that. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, the way I measure my vanilla with teaspoon, I just use my cap. That's usually about a teaspoon. Okay, so I'm going to mix this all in. It's off of the heat now. Still above the hot water, but off of the heat. This is a really nice chocolate color too. Yum. I mean, you can really see, look how pretty that is. And it's thick, but what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put this in the refrigerator now, and I'm going to want to really chill it. It's going to take about 15-20 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how long. I'm actually going to take this off. You can probably see a little better this way. Depending how hot your chocolate is to how long it's going to take for you to cool it down. You can always take it out of the pan, put it into a, maybe a wider container, like a baking dish or something, and then you would be able to, it would probably chill up a lot faster for you. So I might do that. I'm going to turn the camera off and go get something because I want this to firm up on me quicker today. Okay, so I have my smaller container here, and I'm going to spread this out just like I was making a brownie. But I'm not making a brownie. But you can see how nice and dark this is. I love using dark chocolate. It's so decadent. I really do like it. There. So now what I'll do is I will just put this in the refrigerator. It will thicken up a lot faster this way because it doesn't have as much volume to thicken up. So I'm not going to want to waste any of this. Oh, yum. Okay, so let's chill this. I'm going to pause my camera and hopefully it holds a pause. And when we come back, I'll show you how I roll these up and how I decorate them. So I will catch you in about 15-20 minutes. Okay, we're back. And you can see how this really nicely hardened up. I mean, it's not solid hard, but it's moldable now. So I'm just going to take my cookie scoop here that I have, and you can see how nice that works. Now the filling on this does stay a little softer. So I dip these in some chocolate because I just think that it helps to really keep their shape a little bit. And I'm not going to want to do that because it's going to... So you can really see, I mean, it's... trying to get this out of here. It's pretty soft yet. So I'm going to... That really just kind of fell apart. These might not have been soft enough. Either that or my chocolate here was a little bit too warm yet. So I'm going to turn you off, wash my hands. I'm going to cool this down because that's going to melt this chocolate. So you have to be careful. Lesson learned. Okay, so that is, I totally forgot that this was still warm. The brain fart. So I had just taken it out of the microwave. I just wasn't thinking. Because, this chocolate will melt. And so you want to make sure that your chocolate coating, which is just chocolate chips. I had a bag of chocolate chips in here. My semi-sweet, unsweetened chocolate chips, sweetened with stevia again. And about a teaspoon of coconut oil. Melted it in the microwave for about 30-second intervals. And now we're going to let this cool down. So we got to let everything cool down. I forget, I just wasn't even thinking. So yeah, but you can see, now you can do this a couple different ways. If you didn't want to do a chocolate coating on these, you could definitely just coat these in, I'm going to show you here. Coat these in like coconut. See how nice and pretty this would be? Look at that. Look at that. But now, like I said, these stay soft. So you're going to want to make sure you keep these in the refrigerator. So that's why I kind of like putting the chocolate coating on. Because the chocolate coating will be like a hard shell. And then they can bite into that hard shell and they get the nice creamy center. So you can actually sprinkle some coconut on top of your hard shell, and I just did that with this one over here that I took out, so you can kind of see how I did that with that one. I just sprinkled a little bit of coconut right on top of that one, and that shell is going to get nice and hard for me, and I'll probably stick that in the refrigerator too. I'll put these on my rack, and I'll just stick that whole rack in the refrigerator, let them get really hard, and then I will package them up into my little box. And I forgot the cover. So here we go. So I just put them in here, and what a nice little present to give somebody for Valentine's Day. I always like to line it with some either parchment paper, or I just have wax paper in here today because that's what I had in my cupboard. So just so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the box. So if they wanted to, they could use the box over again. And so yeah, so that's really all there is to these. Like I said, I'm going to let these cool down once, or let this chocolate cool down. So once it does cool down, then I will be able to cook those without this chocolate melting. You know, sometimes we have those brain farts, don't we? So I'm going to stick everything back in the refrigerator, because you have to work fast with these. You know, this chocolate, and I probably could have let this set up even a little bit longer. It's set up for about 15-20 minutes, but the longer you let this set up, the harder it's going to get. And the same, you know, same with this. I'm going to just let this come to room temperature. I'm not going to put this in the refrigerator because I'm afraid this is going to get too hard. So I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator. I'm going to let this come to room temperature. And then we will try rolling these again with probably a little bit more success. Okay, we're going to try this again. Everything's cooled down. Okay, so this is even a little bit firmer. And I maybe don't want to make these quite that big. Although really a big truffle, what's wrong with that, right? So now this is real. And instead of dipping this into the chocolate, oh, I didn't do this before. I took my spoon and I'm just kind of rolling this around. So you can kind of see how I just kind of rolled that right in that chocolate. This is a messy job, people. And I'm just laying it right down onto my wax paper over there. So have a rag handy so you can wipe your hand down so you don't have to mix in that chocolate. Notice I'm using a black rag so I don't get all my chocolate all over the place. But you do want to work fast because you want to make sure that this doesn't get too soft on you again. So just get that in there. And this chocolate will harden up once you put it in the refrigerator. It's going to get to be like a hard shell. With that being said, you are going to want to keep these refrigerated until you give them. And then when you give them, you may tell your lucky person that they need to be kept refrigerated also. So they can keep them in the refrigerator and just pop them out. I even like sticking them in the freezer. And you can just eat them that way too. Oh, that one got dropped. But that's okay. But you can tell how nice, you know, these really did firm up a lot better. Okay. When I get these all done and in my bag, or in my box, I will show you what they look like so that you can see the presentation. So that's really all I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of show you something else that I like to do. I'm not going to roll them all on camera. You don't need to see me do that. But that's kind of how I roll with these. But like you can see over here, let's see, we move this down. And let's see here, we're just going to move this over here. I have wax paper on here, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of coconut right on the top of this one. Look how pretty that is. And then I have some crushed walnuts for this one. So that's going to get some crushed walnuts. You can use any nut that you want. Now this one, I have some goji berry powder. So I thought, how fun is that? Something really different. So that's just going to give it a nice little powdery coating on it. And you can even, if you wanted to, you could even go like this with something like this. Because this chocolate, you know, is still sticky even though it's not coated. And you could actually just, you know, coat this. Now this is kind of an orange, so I don't know if I'd want it for Valentine's Day, but wouldn't that be fun for like maybe Halloween or, you know, a holiday that has orange in it? So Thanksgiving or something like that. just an idea of what you can do with this. If you wanted to, you could melt some white chocolate chips, drizzle it over the top for a nice little swirl effect. You could do that, make it a little bit fancier that way. But I'm going to stick with just the coconut and the walnuts for now, and call it good. You can even leave some just plain without anything on them too. So, you know, use your imagination with this. It's fun. And hope your Valentine enjoys this as much as I enjoy these. So, like I said, keep them in the refrigerator or even the freezer, and you can eat them right out of the freezer. They don't get that hard. So, have an amazing day and Valentine's Day. I hope your sweetheart is good to you, and if not, be good to yourself. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.